going to make a double pie crust. Now, I do not have pastry flour. So because I don't have pastry flour, I'm going to do all-purpose flour. And then, of course, you know, internet being internet, I saw that for 1 cup of all-purpose flour, if you take out 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour and add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, you can make it almost equivalent to a pastry flour. So that's what we're going to do. I have my all-purpose flour. I think you can see it. I have my cornstarch. And let me get my tablespoon. And we are going to measure because I like measuring. So I have the recipe for the measured ingredients. Tear it first. It's in ounce. So we're going to do 12 ounce minus 3 tablespoons. I'll just take out. And whenever you do measure, you're supposed to make it straight. So let's see. So that's a straight level cup of flour. That should be about 4 ounce. Guess what? 4.2. The second one. 8.4. Definitely going to make it 12 because I think that will be the minus 3 tablespoons. And then I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of cornstarch to make it into my pastry flour. And a salt. So salt is right here. Teaspoon of salt. Well, actually, it's 1 teaspoon salt, so that's good. I can show you how to do the other half a teaspoon here, because we are doing double the amount. Half teaspoon of salt going in. Add this and add my sugar directly here to make it an ounce. Then I'm going to add cubes of 3 ounces of shortening. The reason it's shortening is because butter actually has hydrogenation and it makes it hard. So if I do 3 ounces of shortening here, I'm going to just scrape it through. It has to be chilled. There you go, 3 ounces of shortening. I'm going to put it in the fridge and I'm going to cube up my butter. And I'll cube up. Each stick says, let me see, each stick is about 3 ounces. So 5 ounces is going to be about that much, I think. That's 5.04. Talk about precision here. That's good enough. And that's the butter I need. And then the ice cold water will be 5 ounces. So I'm going to cube this up, because that's how you can make it quickly integrate without using too much warmth from your hand. And the colder you can keep the pastry shell, the flour, the better and flakier crust it will get. Otherwise it becomes very hard because your temperature melts and the flour actually absorbs the butter instead of trying to just coat them. I just square it. This is the best way. You can use the flour scraper for this, but I'm not going to knead with the flour scraper. That's why I'm trying to use the knife. I'm going to use the pastry dough as much, the flour whisk as much as I can so that I don't have to touch the flour and it's cold. But I still have to break it through because this needs to coat my flour. So let me start using my hands without much ado. I'm going to try to crumble it together. I spend a couple of minutes doing this. Now I'm going to pour the water. It says 5 ounces or less, right? So I'm going to start little and keep on doing this until it barely comes together. I'm going to knead it within the bowl because it's a steel bowl. It's nice and cold and chilled. I do not want it to be the countertop where it's warmer. That's the reason I'm doing it here. So I know that much water is definitely necessary, pour about 1.5 ounce. Once it gets in, it's ice cold because I put ice in there so that it remains cold. Fuel in so that I can use that. Yes, I don't think I need any more water. It's coming together and it should just form a ball, and then I'm going to freeze it after shrink wrapping it. And you can see the marblings of the butter right here, shortening and butter and everything else. I'm just making it into a rind shape. I'm going to chill it. Want it to warm up, so I'm going to just shrink wrap this and put it in the fridge, and then work on it again when it's a little more chilled. Making pie crust is not difficult. It's time consuming. So that's why baking is all about time and planning. I'm trying to bake the pie shell so that we can have strawberry pie today. I will be baking this blind bake and then put it in. To roll out, I'm going to use a little flour so it doesn't stick, and definitely a clean surface to scrape so that it doesn't get stuck below, because if it gets stuck then it's going to be very difficult to put it up. So I always do this. I turn it 2 sides so that it can come together. That. And it doesn't crack up too much. So to the center and unfold. Come down sometimes, and it also kind of trims the edges. Right. Okay, I got the strawberry not the strawberry, the tart shell out of the fridge, and now I can work on it because it's not as bad, right? There are different ways you can do it. Pinching is the easiest thing, I think, or the 2-finger method, because it gives that little height. So I'm going to use that 2-finger method to get my pie shell looking nice. The thing about blind baking is you freeze the dough so it's chilled. You cut the parchment. And then you put your weights. The thing I forgot to do before I started blind baking is docking. So you take a fork and you dock the shells, otherwise it's going to rise up. So I'm going to do that now. So I took the weights out with the pie crust and then giving it 10 more minutes to bake a little bit more. I can see that it hasn't shrunk, which is a good sign. Okay, so now that the pie is in the freezer, I'm going to focus a little bit on my filling, which is going to be my strawberry. Straight into the pot. They're hulled already, no greens in there. And then, so that's how much I kept, almost half, right? And the half I put in the pot. I'm going to add about, I would say, half cup of sugar. It does need a little sugar. So that's about 1/8, right? So I'm going to do this 1/8, 1/4. That's a big one. And that's about half cup of sugar. Also, I like it spicing up a little bit. So I'm going to do like a teaspoon of grated fresh ginger. I think it's a teaspoon, just to make sure. That's half a tablespoon, so this is like double. These things are approximation. I might give a little more if I taste it and think, no, this needs a little more. A pinch of mace. Now, this is something new. Many people don't cook with it, but we do. It's nothing but the outer skin of nutmeg. So, and it's pretty strong. It gives a very nice floral flavor to things. Also, I think I would give a pinch or 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I like the nutmeg flavor. That's half, so little less than that. That's too much nutmeg. That's 1/4. It's grated nutmeg, so you can get nutmeg and then it uses zester and zest it down to grate the nutmeg powder. It's very easy, right? And then I like this a lot, which is roasted cumin powder. So you roast the cumin seeds and then make it into a powder. It has an extremely strong roasty smell. So this is where the heat might come from. This is about 1/4 teaspoon. Just to make sure. Oh, I forgot the pinch of salt. So definitely I like adding a pinch of salt to everything. Also, this might benefit a little bit from acidity. So I'm going to see if they need a little acid, then I'll definitely do it. Definitely only a pinch. So I'm being very careful here. That's all. Okay. It is a non-stick pan, so metals are not a good idea. I have a wooden spoon. I mean the wooden mixer, but for this one, I want to taste. It's nice. I think it's perfect. I don't need to do anything else anymore. This is good. So I'm going to let it boil down now. So this looks to be reducing nicely. I took out some of the strawberries because I'm like the frozen strawberries wasn't kind of faring well. So I took a few of them out and I'm going to add them later to the top of the pie. So the strawberries are on the top, right? But this one has reduced, as you can see. I tasted a little. I'm going to add a little citrus juice, like half a teaspoon, to make it a little more bright. So this is lemon juice. Okay, 1 teaspoon. I think it brightens it up a little bit. And you can see the consistency is thickened. I haven't added the cornstarch yet. Now I'm going to add the cornstarch. I'll add about half a teaspoon and a little water. I don't need too much. So that's about half a teaspoon. But there goes the cornstarch to thicken it. And you can see it immediately thickened up. So that's good. That's what I need. When the pie shell comes out, I'm going to pour it in and then bake it again. And our strawberry pie will be ready. Okay, the pie shell is out. And what I want to do is, just to be doubly sure so that we don't have a soggy bottom, I'm going to butter it with a little fat so it creates that layer of impermeability so that the water doesn't get into the crust. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to pour. You can see this is very crispy crust, and it did shrink. Oh my God, this is so good. And it did shrink, but I think that should be fine. So that's done. Let me pour my strawberry gel. I ended up putting the strawberries back on the syrup because I saw that it didn't look so well. So I think we are just going to do that and then keep it in the fridge for cooling. Perfect, it fit perfectly the amount of strawberries I had. I was a little worried. And then what we'll do is we'll top it with whipped cream. So you don't need fresh strawberries. If I had, I could have garnished it with the fresh strawberries, but I don't have it. That's why I am doing the way I'm doing. And it goes to the